My cousin. Yeah, it's reflection to what point?
0, 0.
Good observation. Right now, this one is a reflection, but it's reflected to a point. It's reflected over the origin, okay, over 0, 0. So what you can see is that if you want to look at the distance between this point and this point is the same thing as, between 8 and 0, that's a reflection distance. Well, that's also reflection distance, or they call the object and image distance. Yes?
Isn't it also reflected over y equals to negative x?
Is it reflected over y equals to negative x? Let's see. If I draw y equals to negative x, now if it's a reflection over this line, then this is, let's say I use this as a object, then the image will look like this. So I would say it's not. A good suggestion, it's not. Okay, so it's only a reflection over the origin. Okay, so good point. Are we good so far over the simplest understanding of even and odd function? Are we okay with this? Yes? Okay. Now, then let's go ahead and look at the notation, because that seems to be the one that makes people struggle the most. All right, now, how many of you understand what's going on here? Anybody? I didn't when I first saw this. I was like, what the heck is this? What is f of negative x and f of x? There are too many f's and x's here. I have no idea. I have no idea why this negative is gone. Okay, I have no idea. But what if I use a number? Let's see if you have an idea. Okay, so we have x squared, right? So let me ask you a quick question. What is f of 2 for x squared? Let's just say this is also equal to f of x. What is f of 2? 4, right? Now, everybody, what is f of negative 2? Louder. Can you see that equal? Then that means f of negative 2 is equal to f of 2. Right? That means f of negative x is equal to f of x. Now, you may not understand the notation right here because you're still kind of new, you're rusty with the math after the summer. That's totally understandable. But if I give you a number to plug in and you will get an answer, right? And you're like, oh, hey, I can actually see those two numbers being the same. And that's actually what's saying. If a function is reflected over the y-axis, then this has to be true. If this is not true, well, then it's not an even function. Okay. So far, so good. Okay. So keep this in mind, right? Keep this in mind. And then what about this? Well, we say, all right, how about what is f of 2 in this case if this is f of x? What's f of 2 in this case? We'll say it's 8. And then we say, what about f of negative 2? We say it's negative 8. Now, they both have an 8, but in this case, it is the negative version of this number. So what do we say? Now, I'm going to walk this a little bit slower. So we say f of negative 2, it's equal to. Now, first, can you see how this is not true? Can everyone see that this is not true? Okay, because this is negative 8, this is 8, this is not a true statement. So to make it a true statement, that's why there's a negative. Okay, so this is negative 8, this is 8, and that's why there's a negative. Now we have a true statement. And whenever there is an odd function, this is always true. Okay, so in general, we will say f of negative x is equal to the negated version of f of x. When in doubt, just drag these two functions out and see it for yourself. When in doubt. This worked for me for a long time because at the very beginning, I had no idea. And this is one extra thing that I want to remind you. I remember when I was taking pre-cal, I made a very dumb mistake. So you remember my dumb mistake, okay? If you look at if you look below the questions, right? You see these two questions? The dumb mistake that I made was this. I look at this question, or something like this, and I would be like, okay, I know what it is. Even function. And then my teacher would say, no, you're wrong. Something like that, okay? Now, why would I make that decision? Well, I was you look at all the if you look at all the exponents, they're all even numbers. So I thought that the way you judge whether it's an even function or odd function is just by looking at the exponents. It's not that, okay? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to find out if a function is even or odd.